Hey guys, I can't believe it's time once again for another Fallout Mods Monthly. These months are going by quicker and quicker, I swear, and we've got some really cool mods to check out. Now, before we begin, I would like to take a moment to do something I neglect to do often enough, and that is thank you guys. All of you wonderful viewers who are here for every weekly video release and mod release that we do over on the Nexus. Your constant support is what keeps this stuff going. And a very special thanks as well to my consistent Patreon members, those of you who are supporting me in a more direct fashion. That is also a very big help, and I do want to shed light on that as well. I appreciate every single viewer, every single person who contributes to these videos, but I do want to mention those Patreon members as well because they go above and beyond in their own special way. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the mods we have seeded for this Mods Monthly because there's quite a few. Matter of fact, there were a lot of mods released this month on account of there being a mod jam that was going to provide a sort of get-together of modders who would all release around the same time frame, around the same theme. I believe it was put together by J. Cruz, and the theme this month was aliens. So, there are a lot of alien-themed mods to come out this month. One of those mods will be featured in this video, but it is an honorable mention to all of the other ones that released because there was a lot of really cool stuff. So I will talk about those a bit in a second because they will be featured sort of alongside the main mod I'll be covering from that batch. Now we also have two different quest mods available, and as well as a new weapon mod, a brand new utility mod of sorts, and a new animation pack that overhauls a lot of the vanilla animations for weapons. So I think you guys are going to like a lot of the stuff available this month. There's some really cool stuff, so let's go ahead and jump right in with one of the first mods, which is going to be sort of a quest overhaul. This is called More Diamond City Bounties by Glitchfinder. Now, the release of this is honestly a pretty crazy coincidence. I was introducing one of my friends to Fallout for the first time, and we were playing our own games alongside each other, pretty much daily checking in. I was playing my game, he was playing his, and we would stream to each other and see what each other was doing. And one of the things that was interesting, he asked about bounties, and I told him that there are bounties in the vanilla game, but not a lot. And lo and behold, right around a day before we had that conversation, this mod released. More Diamond City Bounties overhauls the existing bounty system in Diamond City, so there will not just be one note that replenishes way too far in between. It's now going to have about 5 or 6 notes on that bounty board, so you can pick up whichever ones interest you, or all of them, as a great way to do miscellaneous objectives and pick up some extra caps. If the Radiant quests in the vanilla game weren't enough, this is a great way to do it at your own pace, choosing when you want to accept these quests and not being forced to by Preston. Now, this is going to contain a lot of the same quests that were already in the rotation for these Diamond City bounties, but it's also going to add brand new bounties, including new enemy types that were not available for these bounties before. It also makes all of the existing bounties from the vanilla game repeatable with new locations and new enemy variants. There are also brand new one-time bounty targets, so you'll actually go track down a specific enemy rather than a group. So in vanilla, you'd say have to go over to a random location and take out all of the feral ghouls in that location. Well, now you'll have to go to a specific spot to take out a specific target, and that will only be available once. But the other stuff is still repeatable. And it's random whether or not you get these. Actually, the first time I went to complete one, I actually got all of the sort of groups of enemies for my quest. I didn't get a single one of those one-time bounty targets, so that's pretty interesting. They are rare and one-time, so that's pretty cool. There will also be edits in this mod to make these bounties only available in the Commonwealth, which is good for two reasons. First of all, you're not going to have to travel all the way to Far Harbor or Nuka World to complete one of these bounties just for some extra caps. And the other thing that's good about that is it makes sense. Why would there be a bounty posted in Diamond City for a target all the way in Maine in Far Harbor? That seems a little silly to me, so it actually makes a lot of sense for that to be constricted to just the Commonwealth. I like that edit quite a lot. Additionally, this mod is flagged as an ESL, so you won't have to worry about it taking up a spot in your load order, so it's pretty much a free download for more content. It's nothing too crazy, but it is a very nice addition that makes the bounty system more fun and engaging. Don't get me wrong, I would love a full-on bounty system, sort of like New Vegas bounties, but until then, this makes a wonderful little mod that you can add to any load order, and it just makes sense. Now, next up, we're going to be covering pretty much the only weapon mod in this video this month, except there is technically one more weapon in this video, but not exactly. We'll get there. For starters, let's talk about the MP4 Spectre SMG by the Sixth Messenger. This is going to be a weapon inspired by the real-life Spectre SMG, but it has some interesting tweaks that make it pretty unique and fit well in Fallout. Now, its in-game name is actually the Enclave SMG, which is an interesting idea, especially considering there isn't really an Enclave presence in the vanilla game, but even still, there are actually some add-ons in the faux mod that make a bit more sense. So, this is going to add a pretty simple high fire rate SMG that is heavily customizable with a bunch of cool attachments and custom animations, including vertical foregrip, cool different mag sizes, dual mags, and all kinds of fun other attachments. There's also 3 very unique uniques that have interesting paint jobs and skins. Most of them seem to be references to other games like Call of Duty and Borderlands, so that's pretty interesting. Now, something really cool about this is that it does have leveled list integration, so whenever you download this, it will be added to the enemies in the game. However, there is a built-in add-on that you can have. If you have the Creation Club Enclave stuff installed, it will add this to the Enclave leveled list as well, since it is an Enclave SMG. Pretty interesting. This thing is chambered in 10mm, so it makes for a 10mm SMG, which is somehow lacking in the vanilla game. All we got was the machine pistol. And it'll start spawning at level 35. So that seems pretty high and pretty beefy for a 10mm SMG, but I can tell you, this thing's fire rate is so insanely fast that it shreds through enemies very, very quickly. You'll see me clear out some gunners in the footage here, and it just shreds them to pieces. So it being high level actually makes some sense to me. And that means you could download some other SMGs in the same sort of slot, but for the early game, and have this for the later game while still fitting that same sort of niche. And I think that's pretty cool. On top of the unique skins available for the exclusive uniques, there are also a bunch of skins you can equip to change this thing to look however you want for your character. There is default as well as the few other colors that are just kind of basic, like aluminum coloring as well as pink and DC Guard colors, but there's also some specific faction paints like Enclave, Nuka World gang colors that includes all 3 gangs, as well as the gunner paint job, blood and steel, all kinds of fun stuff. And what's really neat is that all of these are unlockable. So when you get the gun at first, it has the default skin, aluminum and tactical black, that are already unlocked. But once you complete certain quests or other objectives, you'll unlock the other skins. So to get the gunner colors, you need to follow McCready's quest line. And you have to kill the 2 gunner commanders, Winlock and Barnes. And once you've done that, you unlock the gunner colors. That's pretty cool. The DC Guard colors is going to be unlocked as soon as you enter Diamond City. Enclave colors are going to be unlocked whenever you defeat the Enclave troopers near the Slog, specifically the ones from the Creation Club content. If you want to get the Nuka World colors, you need to take the Taken for a Ride quest from Nuka World. And then the other 3 are going to be the legendary unique paints that you can unlock by finding those legendaries. Super cool way to integrate skins. I personally don't really try to add too many skins to my mods unless it is on a unique, but for a way to integrate skins into the game in a cool way, I think that's fun. Whether or not it is the most realistic approach, it is a very fun way to add a sort of progression to a weapon. So if the Sixth Messenger comes back and makes any new weapon mods, I'd be curious to see how that system evolves and what other cool objectives you could complete to create new skins for the weapon. Very, very cool system. Now, the next mod we're talking about is going to be the next quest and location and monster mod. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here, and it is part of that mod jam I talked about. Now, the one that we're covering in this video is known as Project Nemean, a creature mod by Princess Aries, but there are a lot of other honorable mentions of really cool things, like the Sonic Neutralizer, or the Prototype Z Blaster, or the Zetamorphs mod, or even the Glorptastic Adventure New Quest and Blaster mod. There's so much good stuff that you could go check out, and all of it is actually linked on the Project Nemean mod page. So if you go check this one out, go check those out as well for even more alien-themed content. Now, for Project Nemean, we get a brand new West Tech location in the Glowing Sea that's going to house some interesting experiments, which are going to include new enemies that you may find familiar, like the floaters from Fallout 76, The Grendel, which has a handful of variants, which I believe is supposed to be inspired by the 76 Wanamingos. Not a huge 76 player, so I don't know all of that for certain. And then we also have the Dover Demon, which is going to be reminiscent of the actual Dover Demon cryptid from, I was going to say real life, but considering it's a cryptid, that's kind of not the most accurate description, but you know what I mean. From the actual folklore, we have a Dover Demon, which is a sort of Zayden-type creature that is also housed here. So at this facility, you can see a bunch of interesting test tubes that are experimenting on all of these creatures, and after the war, some of them seem to have gotten out, and they've been inhabiting this location as well as some of the nearby areas, so approaching it might be a little bit dangerous. This place is really, really cool. It looks super interesting. Playing through the whole thing was really fun. Its ambience is very, very cool and looks awesome. There are some really interesting connections from the main facility into this massive cave structure. It is full with brand new enemies, so it's going to be a super cool experience for you to go and encounter for the first time. It honestly is going to be a very, very fun addition to any game. Whether you want a lore-friendly game or you just want more things to fight, it fits pretty much all of those boxes, considering all of these creatures, or at least most of them, were found somewhere else in Fallout's history. So seeing them in this mod is really, really cool. And they're not just simple creatures either. They all have custom sounds, custom meshes, and textures. They are rigged to existing animations, but that's kind of just something you got to deal with. Making new creature rigs is very, very difficult. They all drop their own unique loot that can be used to make new food items and other aid items, which is super cool. It feels like it was integrated properly into the main game and doesn't feel out of place at all. So once again, Aries has knocked it out of the park, and I know they're working on some more creature-based content, so stay tuned for that because it's going to be really, really cool. Now, the next mod is technically a weapon, but not quite. We're checking out the Magnite, a functional flashlight by EvTital, Nito, and TCZ. Now, in first person, what you're going to be getting is a flashlight. You hold it up in reverse grip so that your hand is facing up and the light is facing out, and you're going to be using it like a flashlight. It's really that simple. It is a flashlight that works like a flashlight. It is super customizable. It surprisingly has a ton of different attachments at the weapons workbench. So you can change out the size of it, the amount of batteries it has, the colors of it, as well as some other extra add-ons like adding barbed wire to it. And you can even change out the lens to have a sort of different flashlight, changing out the colors and the size of the light. Pretty cool. And it works like a flashlight. So if you ever wanted a very lore-friendly and immersive way to use a flashlight in the game, this is going to be one of the best ways to do it. Now, the only thing that made me a little sad was that there aren't custom animations for third person. So if you're in third person, you don't hold it up the same way you do in first person, and because of that, the light doesn't point in the same way. It does still point forward, thankfully. You hold it sort of like you would a combat knife, so you hold it at your side, and the light is still forward, but it's not perfect, so as you walk around, your hand swings, and thus the light swings as well. It would have been really cool to see third-person animations, but I know that that is very, very difficult to do. So quite frankly, it's just fine how it is. Besides, most people play in first person anyways. I don't see you trying to use this in third person besides getting really cool shots of your character walking through the night for one of those ASMR go-to-bed type videos. So the way it functions as is very, very fine, and there's not really any issues with it beyond that. If you want to get your hands on this thing, it actually is found as random loot, so you might find it out in the world in like containers, but you can also purchase it from vendors. It is balanced as a melee weapon, so it can be sort of like an early game blunt weapon, because you can actually swing this thing. Not only does it function as a flashlight, but you can swing it like you could any melee weapon, but it's not going to do great damage. However, you can up that by adding more batteries, thicker butt plates, and as well, you can throw on barbed wire if you really want to. So you can make this thing a pretty formidable melee weapon, but its main priority is being a flashlight, and that's what it's going to excel at. As a melee weapon, it might be a little bit lacking because that's not its intended goal, but it can be used in a pinch if you need it to, which is pretty cool. Overall, a very fun and interesting approach to a new utility item that we don't really have anything like in the vanilla game. Using something like this, along with binoculars and canteens and other fun utility items, could make for a very fun survival game, and I would love to see somebody make use of this sort of flashlight in some kind of a horror quest mod, where they take all of your guns away and all you have is this. That could be really, really fun. Anyways, if you want to try it out, it'll be linked down in the description below. We have one more mod to talk about, though, and that is the vanilla reanimation project Assault by Rohnald. Now, if you don't know, Rohnald is a wonderful animator who has been reanimating a lot of guns for Fallout 4 and adding new animations as well. And this time around, we have a pack of animations, otherwise known as the Assault Pack, because I think that his plan is to sort of group together animations by theme. So the Assault Pack is going to include a handful of vanilla weapons, including the submachine gun, combat shotgun, combat rifle, assault rifle, and handmade assault rifle from Nuka World. So I believe that Rohnald's goal is to then maybe release a pack of pistols, maybe a pack of energy weapons. I'm not sure how they're going to group it, but at the very least, that is what we get in this pack. And it's going to completely reanimate all of these weapons with a brand new style that is pretty interesting and pretty unique. So if you like these animations, this is definitely something I'd keep an eye on because we might get more packs like this in the future. My only question is, why is the radium rifle not included in this? It could have been an oversight, or it could be intended for a later pack. I'm honestly just not sure. But I do feel like the radium rifle fits in the theme of these, since the SMG and combat rifle are here. But we'll see. Maybe there'll be something cool planned for that in the future. Either way, you're going to get some really cool animations for these existing weapons, and I'll have you know, this works with anything that uses these animations as well. So I show off in this video that I use the varmint shotgun, which is pretty much our only gun that uses one of these animations, and the reanimation works perfectly. Honestly, it looks really good on the varmint shotgun. I think it's a really, really cool update to that weapon if you decide to use both of those mods in tandem. And the same is true for any other mods you have that use these animations, including my machine gun replacer for the existing machine gun, or any other mods that maybe use that rig for a new weapon. They will all use these animations and they will look fantastic. So that's really, really cool. I know there's a lot of weapons out there that use the handmade assault rifle from Nuka World, so that will be very beneficial to any of those as well, including that brand new one by Nina. That'll look really good. And to interrupt this video, it is just now occurring to me that when I went through and selected the mods, my top mods of this month, I somehow entirely neglected Nina's proper pipe guns and Nina's handmade assault rifle. Darn. That is probably one of my favorite groups of mods this month, and I completely forgot about it until right now. So Nina, if you're hearing this, I apologize greatly. That mod is fantastic. Both of them. The proper pipe guns and the actually handmade assault rifle are absolutely fantastic, and I am sincerely sorry for not including those in this video because I definitely meant to. I'm looking at it right here on my notes, and they should have been here, and I screwed up big time. And it's a bit late now for me to fix it because we are one day from this video going live, so whoopsie, and I hope I can make it up to you in some way. I will be linking that down in the description at the very least, so you can go and check that out as well. It is a complete revisited version of the classic proper pipe gun mod by Nina, as well as a new version that makes the handmade assault rifle actually look handmade instead of just being another AK. Both of them look fantastic, and they're wonderful if you like makeshifty weapons. They're probably some of the best ones available on the Nexus right now, and they have complete built-in integration with the attachment pack, and it looks fantastic. It's one of my favorite mods I've seen in a long time, and I can't believe I missed it. Maybe I'll do a standalone video sometime in the future to cover these because they're honestly just fantastic. With that, though, we should probably wrap things up. We've been going for a bit, and we've covered some really, really cool mods. Go ahead and check out all the mods linked down in the description below. Everything in this video will be there, as well as go ahead and check out everything from the Mod Jam, all linked over on the Project Nemean page, and check out Nina's stuff too, because it's really cool, and I'm mad I didn't cover it here. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. If you like this video, consider dropping it a like, as well as dropping any endorsements on mods of mine if you enjoy those as well. It's a great way to help them out and let more people see them. For those of you who want a more direct way to support my work, you can check me out on Patreon, but of course, that's completely optional. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!